Hello to my beautiful friends out there. Welcome to my channel, Astro. And this is your monthly forecast for October 2025. We've already moved into fall, and October is a cleansing month because we have Mercury being the star of the month and Neptune moving back into Pisces at 29 degrees, along with Saturn at 26 degrees. And there are other planets that are following. Mars is in Scorpio. We have Mars. Mercury is going to start out in Libra, but we have Mars, Neptune, Saturn, and then we have the Sun, and Mercury will also move into Scorpio this month. So there's an emphasis on the water. Okay, water represents reflection. It also represents what you can't see. Okay, it is a portal as well. So with this water energy happening this month, we have this it's a recalibration. Neptune and Saturn moving back into Pisces is the opportunity, and the last one, to make sure that we have brought the things up that we need to let go of. And for some reason, for some of us, we forgot something, and that something needs to be addressed, and that's why they're back to show us the way. Okay, and then we have Pluto in Aquarius stationing direct, and with that direct motion, the retrograde already brought things to the surface. Now that it's at the surface, Pluto is taking action swiftly, quickly. So the cleanup is happening, and some of it is going to be whether you like it or not, okay? But I suggest that you go with the flow, because we still have the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo. So this North Node energy, along with the Neptune and Saturn in Pisces, we need to, make sure that we set our boundaries going forward. And because Neptune and Pisces are boundless energies, and sometimes with that energy, you may want to overextend yourself. And with Neptune being here, Neptune wants us to recognize our fear from our intuition. And that's where the fog and the confusion happens with Neptune. Neptune is very spiritual. It wants us to be on our spiritual path and grow spiritually, very compassionate. But we always tend to reference Neptune with the fog and the confusion. However, there is a reason for that, because that is about us being more keen about what we are experiencing, and know that the experience is either fear-based or your intuition speaking to you. Okay, So I don't want to spend too much time on this intro. Let me see, what else was there that I wanted to share with you outside of Pluto and Neptune. Okay, well, oh, all right. We do have the full moon in Aries, and that's happening on the 6th of this month. And, even though the full moon is about releasing, this is an action oriented full moon, and taking charge and being assertive in your persona, period. Okay. There's also Chiron in this action as well, and Chiron is going to highlight where the wounds are. Okay. And with the full moon being in Aries, there's a lot of emotion behind that, because Aries is the first house. And with the first house, it's all about your head and your body, your personality. So somewhere, with this Aries full moon, you are needing to heal a certain part of yourself. And there's, so much healing going on this month with Neptune, Chiron, and Pluto. But for the most part, Pluto is about the collective, okay? But, there's still some personal issues for each of us. So let's talk about the rest in the forecast. So I'll see you there. Hello, beautiful Libra Rising out there. Okay, this is the second time I'm recording your forecast because my transmitter needed a recharge. I guess I must be talking too much. This is Mercury front and center for the month. It's all about Mercury. We also have water, 5 planets in water, plus the North Node. And this is an emotional but turbulent month of energy that we're going to be experiencing. So I'm going to try and get through with your forecast. Thank you for being a part of the channel. This is Astro Cheryl, and I'm giving you your monthly forecast for October 2025. All right. So we start the month off on the 1st with Mercury in Libra square Jupiter in Cancer. And this is happening in your first house and your 10th house. Your first house is the house of self, and Mercury in Libra is there. And this is about how others see you as well. This is about your self-worth. This is about your physical body. And your 10th house is about your public perception and your career. Okay? So Jupiter is in your 10th house in the sign of Cancer. And that's a bit emotional, even though Jupiter is expansive. But let's get right into it. During this transit, you may have a desire for balanced diplomatic communication, but it will clash with your deeply felt or expansive ideas for your career. You may feel a push-pull between how you want to be perceived publicly or professionally and your personal need for agreeable interactions and balanced relationships. You may feel like your public actions may not align with your private, empathetic core self. Okay? But, that's something you have to work through. And these, depending on the degrees, these squares and oppositions can be a little painful because they're going to bring some hidden truths to light for your growth. Okay? So on the third, we have Mercury in Libra in your first house. And it's opposing Chiron, the wounded healer, in the sign of Aries in your seventh house. Okay? So, Chiron is going to bring up the wounds of Aries. Now, we all have Chiron in our charts, but it may be under a different sign. Mine is not under Aries, and maybe yours not either. However, with this transiting, it's just going to touch that house that Aries resides and have you look at, what is wounding you here. So you may struggle between asserting your own desires and maintaining a harmonious, balanced relationship. Your communication may feel out of sync with your desire for partnership. Your relationships and partnerships may expose your vulnerabilities in self-assertion and identity. You feel a strong urge to express your unique identity and take charge, but you find this challenged by the need to compromise and consider your partner. Okay, so it's good to choose yourself first because you have to be in your best, head space in order to, have the best feel, about your partner. So Mercury ingress to Scorpio, and this is happening on the 6th, and it's happening in your second house of values, possessions, your finances, and your self-worth. So you may feel very protective of your wealth and financial well-being, using strategic tactics to guard your assets. Excuse me. Your need for truth may drive your actions and communication, pushing you to uncover hidden aspects of your financial or material situation. Misunderstandings and miscommunications in relationships, personally and professionally, are likely. So just beware because Scorpio has this intensity about it. So when you're embodied in Scorpio energy, you may have harsh communication. Okay? So on the same day, the full moon in Aries is at 8:47 p.m. in the 7th house. All right, and the full moon's about letting go, reflecting, and you can set boundaries. You may feel a strong urge to assert your independence or confront issues within your relationships if they feel restrictive. Okay? This is a time to set clear boundaries, forgive yourself and others, and dissolve conflicts within your partnerships, and create connections that are more authentic. Your urge to find a shared connection with your partner, make decisive moves, and address challenges head on. This is a time to balance your personal needs for independence and passion with the need of your partner. Okay, so on the 7th, we have Mercury in Scorpio square Pluto in Aquarius. And this is happening in your second house and your fifth house. Your fifth house is your house of creativity, romantic encounters, your joy, playfulness, children, and games of chance. So you may experience sudden, unexpected financial changes that impact your creative or romantic role. Your relationships may go through intense arguments or power plays over shared resources or creative differences. You may have obsessive thoughts about financial security or the outcome of a creative venture. You may have a profound desire to transform your values or self-worth to align with your creative passions. On the 13th, we have Venus moving into Libra, and this again is going to be in your first house because you are Libra rising and everything starts there. Okay, so during this transit, you exude charm and attract people easily, making social and professional interactions more harmonious. This is a good time to improve your personal appearance, health, and your environment. Cultivating beauty in your surroundings and yourself. This is Venus in Libra. Venus rules Libra. Diplomacy and cooperation strengthens your bonds with understanding in your personal and professional relationships. Okay. You may encounter prospects for artistic projects and financial improvements. Unexpected income or opportunities to invest wisely. Oh, shoot. Okay. Now, on the 14th, we have Pluto in Aquarius stationing direct. Now, Pluto stations direct means that this is happening in your fifth house of joy, creativity, romantic partners, children, hobbies. Pluto retrograde digs up the things that you no longer need or we no longer need. And when it goes direct, it is at the surface and ready to move on out of the way. And Pluto going direct works pretty fast at this point. So, expect some whirlwind of energy that comes through. Again, this depends on the degree in which your Pluto is. I didn't put the degree of Pluto here, but that's something to think about. Okay, so let me see, what was I saying? Be prepared for deep, obsessive, and transformative experiences in your romantic and sexual relationships. Expect powerful upheavals and rebirth in your creative pursuits and self-expression. You may find inventive ways to break free from old creative blocks or discover a new, authentic channel for your inner energy. You may let go of addictive behaviors related to winning or finding the thrill of the chase. That's a good thing, though. Significant decisions about starting a family or exploring alternative paths to adoption are possible. So beware, this transformative process is moving fast. So on the 16th, we have the Sun in Libra squaring Jupiter in Cancer. And this is in your first house of self and your 10th house of career. All right, and the Sun is ego, just so you know. You may feel pulled into two directions, a need to assert your personal sense of harmony and balance while also being driven to achieve public recognition and career advancement. You may feel overwhelmed by the pressure to be both emotionally and nurturing in your work and achieve success, or you may find yourself overpromising, overestimating your abilities in your professional life. So you need to set healthy boundaries, okay? So on the 21st, we have the new moon in Libra, again in your first house. This is happening at 5:25 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. You may be setting your intentions for inner harmony, cultivating a balanced inner dialogue, and foster equitable relationships with others. This is a good time to make significant changes or a fresh start. Seek out a new job, change your appearance, or shift your overall direction in life. You know, if you're young enough to make those changes, that's great. So on the 23rd, we have Neptune retrograding back into Pisces at 29 degrees, which is the critical degree in the sign of Pisces. And this is happening in your sixth house of daily routines, your health, your work, being of service, and your co-workers, subordinates, and superiors or authority figures. So this last retrograde back into Pisces is to get the last of whatever those patterns that you're holding on to or don't realize you're holding on to. This last pass should bring that to the surface and allow you to release it, because we're moving into new beginnings in the sign of Aries next year, and it'll stay in Aries for a while. Okay, so let's see. You're being asked to redefine your spiritual connection within your daily life. You may experience a period of fog and confusion. Okay, the fog and confusion with beautiful Neptune being that spiritual, compassionate energy, but because it's such a deep spiritual planet, and it's a watery planet, it's a lot of, the deeper you get, the more murky it gets. It's hard to see, so you're confused. And then there's your intuitive ability that Neptune embodies. And we often have a problem with knowing the difference between our fear and our intuitive nature, okay? And that's where this fog and confusion can happen with Neptune, is because we have not really addressed the false evidence appearing real, which is fear, okay, as opposed to your deeper connection, which is natural, that is going to guide you. So sometimes we don't rely on our intuitive, but we do rely on the fear, okay? So that's something that this Neptune retrograde is offering, is the truth of the matter, okay? So let's see, being this confusion, being an opportunity to discern between your true intuition and your fears. The retrograde motion is a call to clear away illusions and tap into more aligned inner voice. You will need to set boundaries in your daily life interactions and acts of service. This is to protect your energy and reestablish healthy limits to avoid codependent dynamics and or self-sacrifice, okay? Now, the sun also enters Scorpio on the 23rd, and this is happening in your second house. So you will discover your personal power by developing inner skills and outer assets. Okay? So whatever your skills are, make them work for your income or bringing in more money that you can rely on. Be cautious with new financial ventures or decisions. There may be risk of financial misunderstandings, deceit, or making the wrong decisions. You are encouraged to review and revise financial plans made during earlier periods. Okay? Might need to relook at that and see if they're still working for you. You may feel the need to transform your sense of self-worth with what you own and create. You have a strong drive to develop your hidden talents and skills, which may make you feel more self-worthy. Be careful of your words because your tongue could be sharp at this time, okay? Because we're dealing with the sun, which is about the ego. And of course, Scorpio, who can be, manipulative. All right. So, Libra Rising, this is your forecast for the month of October. And until next time, bye for now.